The following is a legal advertisement. This does not constitute individual legal advice and should not be construed as such. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. My name is Michelle Gamino, and I am the Client Resource and Business Development Coordinator for Gwendolyn J. Stirk and the Family Law Group. Our speakers today are family law attorneys Gwendolyn Stirk and Jennifer Nolan. Today's topic is Parenting 101, Grow Up.
So, Gwen, it's come to my attention, just random things, seeing TV and all the craziness on TV, that parents are not seeing that they're hurting the children. They're not creating positive environments or being positive co-parents. Do you see the same thing?
Oh, good God, yes. I mean, seriously, these people act like hoodlums. Ridiculous. They can't parent. They shouldn't even be parenting an animal, let alone a child. They can't give direction to save their lives. I mean, we get into the most ridiculous circumstances, and I just want to shake some people.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think a good shaking would be okay for some of these people, because they're so blinded by, I want to hurt her, I want to hurt him. They don't see that they're John Doe over here, their child, is looking at everything that's going on, and in some instances either growing resentment for mom or growing resentment for dad.
Okay, and think about little kids, like the babies that can't even talk, 2 and under. You don't think that they feel the tension in the air? You can cut it with a knife.
Oh, absolutely, especially with the parents who have to argue every time there's an exchange, or every time we see each other, or, God, heaven forbid, if there's a new girlfriend or boyfriend in the picture.
Yeah, they can't even control the car door. They slam the doors. They make the child uncomfortable. They won't look at each other, or they howl at each other. That's what I call it, howling, because they can't control their behavior at all.
Absolutely, and I don't think it helps or benefits anyone in a parenting situation. You can't go anywhere if you don't cooperate on some level, right?
Right. Well, Kurt Vonnegut said a little less love and a little more common decency. And doesn't that go a long way?
A long way.
Because you have to stop and respect your kids. And, I tell parents that I represent, put on an Academy Award-winning performance. Give yourself a new motto. Say you're going to put your hands by your side and you're just going to play nice.
That is great advice. Oh, that is great advice.
Because they have to behave. And if the other person isn't going to behave, what's the best way to get your ex-spouse to not retaliate?
I say let it go.
Let it go. Or if you put on that Academy Award-winning advice or that performance there, and you don't let them irritate you, then the next time around they're not going to try to get away with it. If you give somebody an inch, they take a mile.
Can't show
Just
them.
like a kid, they act like they're 5.
Can't show them that you frustrate them.
Right.
You have to keep it moving, and then eventually they'll hopefully get tired of that game and say, "Look, this makes no sense. I'm wasting my time. You're wasting your time. Let's just come together."
One of the fights that cracks me up is when they won't let a non-parent pick up the child. So, isn't that stupid?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and what cracks me up is when there's 3 kids and they're all at different locations. So it is humanly an impossibility to accomplish picking them up at 5 p.m. But we won't let grandma or grandpa pick them up.
Right. It's like you're thinking out of anger and you're not thinking rationally or logically. You cannot be at 3 places at the same time.
And I don't know about you, but I don't have enough time to put up with this.
Absolutely not. Especially when we're dealing with work. You're right. We're dealing with working parents who have their lives, who have other things going on. You're creating more problems when there's no need for the problem.
Right.
Right. And, again, it's causing more strain on not only you and the kids, but other members of your family as well. Looking at what's going on with the kids, and it causes just a discord all across the board.
You know what else I think is a problem is when the other parent who's doing the transition, meaning the parent that is giving up the child, can't give the kid a word of encouragement. Go have fun with your other parent. What are you going to do? Tell them that they're going to have a bad time? Are we going to coax them in a way? And parents have that control. And they set the tone in the environment, and they fail to do it.
Absolutely.
Think about it. If you don't want to do something, or you don't have the incentive, and mom or dad's not pushing you out to have a good time, you don't have that freedom to do it.
Absolutely. Or you fear that if you do have a good time, you're scared about what mom or dad will say. If you say, yeah, I had a great time with the other parent, and then that causes some hostility, well, you shouldn't have had a great time, and they did this wrong. And I think and then just to segue a little bit, you poison the child when you disclose the adult interaction with the children.
Right. It's
And
like
so-
the Disney movie. If you saw it with dad, it's worse than if you saw it with mom. It's the
Correct.
same darn movie.
Same movie.
But they see it from two different perspectives. So what is the advice to parents? How do they behave? What should be done?
You catch more flies with honey than vinegar. I think you co-parent in a positive environment. It creates, everything is smooth. You have less stress. It's less stress on the kids, and it creates the environment that we can grow and love, despite the fact that our family is not the same.
Okay, but hold on a minute. The father's girlfriend went and got the kid's hair cut in a style that mom, frankly, doesn't like. It's a punk look.
It's a haircut. Hair grows back. We can voice our opinion. Pick and choose your battles. Look, voice your opinion. I do not like this punk look on my son. You need to, if there's a parenting agreement involved, you need to advise your girlfriend or your significant other of this parenting agreement and our decisions regarding the child, and go from there. Do I think it's a big blow up you need to go to court for? No, not necessarily, but I think it's something that you have a discussion.
Okay, but I've struggled for years and years, and a guy comes in and says my ex-wife can't get over it. She's scorned for life. Look, I had an affair on her. Maybe I shouldn't have done it, but it happened. When are we going to move on?
For some people like that, I think, a suggestion of counseling or therapy might work for them. Because some people hold on forever and can hold on to grudges like a dog holding on to a bone and never really let it go unless they have some kind of other outlet.
So, but what do you say to dad in that instance? Sure, it's great. Mom should get counseling. Maybe I should get counseling.
Sure.
But nothing happens. And year after year after year, my kids suffer because we can't even get them in the car without having a nasty exchange.
That's when, you'd probably have to come in and get some legal intervention to set some parameters on how and when and where to exchange.
Now, would it be a good idea for them simply not to see each other? I mean, some of the cases that we've had, we've suggested that we do an interaction. So maybe somebody takes the kids directly to school so that you don't have so many exchanges.
That's a perfect exchange. And if there's a neutral exchange center, like I know in DuPage they offer a neutral exchange center, or any other service, then I think that should be used so that the parents have little to no interaction if it's the case where every time they meet, it's an explosion.
And I do see that, and I think that's a good alternative. But at the same time, for the kids, that's not normal. People have to interact. It's like when I was a kid. I didn't like science, but my mom said I had to go anyway, and I had to get a passing grade in science, even though I thought it was stupid. Because that was life. You have to grow up. Shouldn't we at some point tell these parents grow up?
Absolutely.
So, it's a hard line, and sometimes people never get through it. The other thing I think is ridiculous is when they all are fighting over sitting at a basketball or a baseball game, and then you get two extremes. One of them, they always want to sit next to each other, and the other ones, they want to sit on the other side of the universe. How do you balance that?
They tell them to grow up. Grow up. That's the only advice I think we can give in that situation. Grow up.
Right. And put your kids first.
Yes.
Anything that's not going to put your kids in a zone where they feel that there's not comfort.
Right, because kids can see this. Even though, I'm supposed to be playing in the basketball game, I can see that there's something going on.
Right.
Get a little distracted.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, people just have to put it behind them. And I think that, sometimes it takes other people. I view divorce as like a tortoise race. A tortoise goes real slow. And so one person might have been planning it for a long time, and they're further along to the finish line, and the other person is just plodding along, and sometimes they go backwards because they really don't want it to end. But they both have to get to the finish line and accept it.
Right.
This is an in-time question.
Yes.
And acceptance is part of the process of healing. So, and there's some good programs just to share things, with people that might be listening. There's some good programs out there that get you through divorce recovery, some type of divorce care program, something that's going to help them move forward with their lives. And there's also some very good parenting classes out there.
Absolutely.
So, overall, we'll give them advice, but grow up. That's our message.
Grow up.
The proceeding was a legal advertisement from Gwendolyn J. Stirk and the Family Law Group.